Welcome to this Confined Spaces Awareness course. In this session, we'll explore the hazards associated with confined spaces, we'll look at some of the safety regulations, and we'll also start to equip you with the means to identify and mitigate the associated risks. By the end of the session, we hope you'll be in a better position to recognise where a confined space exists and also to understand the typical precautions that should be in place if you're going to work in them or around them. According to most safety standards, a confined space must meet the following requirements. It has limited or restricted means of entry and exit, and that it is not designed for continuous human occupancy. Examples of confined spaces include things like storage tanks, silos, vessels, vaults, sewers, and pipelines. It's important to understand that many confined spaces are not hazardous under normal operating conditions, but only become hazardous when there's a change in the environment, such as the following examples. Something occurs to create an oxygen deficient atmosphere. Hazardous fumes or gases are introduced because of work taking place. Engulfment or entrapment hazards become present because of a change in conditions, or simply that there's poor visibility or lighting in the area. When working in or around confined spaces, it's really important that you're able to recognise the type of hazards that could arise. Let's look at some examples in a bit more detail. Atmospheric hazards. Confined spaces may contain harmful gases, such as carbon monoxide or hydrogen sulfide. In the right concentrations, these types of gases can prove fatal. Also, there is a risk that a confined space has asphyxiating conditions, such as low oxygen levels. Again, if the oxygen levels drop below a certain level, this could prove fatal. Engulfment or entrapment. Materials such as liquids, grain, or sand can shift and flow rapidly. For example, if a worker is in a silo with grain, they could easily be engulfed. Or similarly, if a worker was in a storm sewer and there was an unforeseen flash flood, they could easily drown. Physical hazards. Confined spaces can have sharp objects, unguarded machinery, or other physical hazards that could cause injury. Workers may also be at risk of getting stuck or trapped inside the space. The shape of a confined space may make it inherently dangerous. For example, if it's designed to hold liquids or free-flowing solids, then the entries and exits will likely be small and the floors or walls could be sloped or curved. In some confined spaces, workers may be exposed to extremes of temperature, either hot or cold, which could lead to heat exhaustion or hypothermia. As hopefully you can see, understanding the unique hazards that exist within a confined space are key to worker safety. And therefore conducting a comprehensive risk assessment and identifying suitable control measures is paramount when it comes to reducing risk.